Hi, and welcome to another episode of Utah Crossbow Hunter, where today we are going to be talking about cranking devices, particularly three types of cranking devices. The first one is going to be the CENTERPOINT cranking device, the rope cocker cranking device, which we'll use on all three, and the Carbon Express cranking device that we'll use today. The one thing you won't see me do today is you will not see me cranking it up all the way. I'll do my best to explain the locking mechanisms on each one because I don't have a decocker yet. One of these days I might have me a decocker and we'll talk about that, but not right now. So I have to go outside to decock my crossbows, and it's a little chilly outside, so I'd be in the doghouse as the kids would be outside, and the wife doesn't let the kids outside when it's this cold. So, with that said, let's get started with today's show. Okay, welcome back. Okay, so we're going to be talking about, like I said, this is cranking devices. We're going to be using the CENTERPOINT PATRIOT 415, the Carbon Express PILEDRIVER 390, and the JAGUAR C013 Crossbow. So with that said, let's get started with the JAGUAR C013 Crossbow. This one here is just a rope cocking device only. Some of the recurve crossbows like this one here, this is a recurve, do have cocking device, rope cockers, a cranking device, because they're big, heavier draw than this one here. The higher end ones, Excalibur has a couple of them like that. You need to use the crank on. For this one here though, the rope itself goes right here in this little groove. Let me see if I can get that groove in there. That little groove right there. Again, like I said, I'm not going to be cocking these up all the way, just because I have to have a rope decocker. I don't have a decocker, and I don't want to go outside and shoot these because they're a little chilly outside. For me, it's fine, but for the kids, the wife won't allow it. But so with that said, let's bring out the rope cocker. So let me adjust my camera here a little bit. And you'll notice that, I have my socks on. I don't have my shoes on. But I highly recommend that you use shoes to cock these. You're always going to put your foot through the stirrup down here. Run your rope around. And again, depending on your crossbow manufacturer, make sure you check either your hook's either going to be down or up. Most of them are down. So I'm just going to put my string right in that groove, wrap it or put the hooks onto my string, and just pull it straight up. Okay? So on this crossbow, the locking mechanism, you're going to hear two clicks. Okay? The first click is going to be the anti-dry fire button dropping down. The second click is going to be dropping it up and locking it in. Excuse me, locking it in. So when it's locked in, your safety will be off, or I should say on. Okay, and when you load it in your arrow, your anti-safety device will click off, and you can move your safety up. Okay. I'm still trying to get over my nasty cold. All right. Okay. So the next one we're going to go to is the Carbon Express PILEDRIVER 390. For this one, the rope cocking device is right underneath here. Okay. And the anti-dry fire mechanism is right here, and your safety is here. Let me grab it, and we'll talk about that. The rope cocking device here. If you notice here, you have 4 grooves or a plus sign right there. And on your crossbow, you'll have the receiver. It will have the same markings on it. Okay. So all you do is just drop your crank right in there. Okay. And I think I put it in. Yep, I did. Upside down. So let me turn it around so it's like. So it's like this. This is your release for your string. This one here, your hand crank comes off. You'll notice there's a groove or a pin right there, and there's 4 holes right here. So that pin can go in either one of those 4 holes. Okay. To release your string, you just push it down and pull your string out. Okay. Grab both ends and just pull them straight down. Big boo-boo there. I just put that back in. Okay. You need to pull out just a little bit more to get it around your string. So you're going to hook it around your string. Like so. Right down here. Take your crank. Put it on. And you start cranking. Now tighten up your strings. You'll notice that this crank is awfully quiet. Okay? Like I said, I'm not going to crank it up all the way. So we're going to talk about the anti-dry fire system on here. So let me decrank this here. Okay, take them off. And then what you'll want to do, so your strings don't get all messed up, is just start cranking up your strings. So it goes right snug back into your crank there. Okay. All right. So this one here is pretty much like the Jaguar. When your string gets in here, again you'll hear 2 clicks. First click is your locking mechanism going down, and the second click is where it's coming back up, and making sure, and it's also pushing back your safety. Okay. Then you load in your arrow, and then you can take your safety off. All right. Again for the rope. Yes, please. Okay. Like I said, it goes in. All right. Again, depending on your manufacturer, either your hook's going to be down or your hooks are going to be up. Okay. And all you do is just put it in that groove right behind there. Okay. And just run your strings down, hook onto your hooks onto your string, and then you pull it up. Again, you've seen me doing this multiple times on other videos. Okay. Now for the center point, it's just a tad bit different with the crank. Now, I'll show you here in just a second what I'm talking about. But you notice I have my where my crank goes back a little bit further because oh, my engineer wants a drink. Let me give him a drink here. Take your drink. Take your drink. Okay. So, the reason for that back here is because I have this HHA Sports Optimizer speed dial on here. So if I have this all the way up, my crank is going to hit this optimizer speed dial, and I won't be able to use the crank.
I did that.
Okay. So That's why this is so far back. So I had a question about that on one of my other videos. So with this one here, okay, right here, this little pin. So when you're cranking it up, this pin will start at the bottom, and once you hear the first click, this pin will go up, and the second click, it drops it back down. So that's kind of an indicator that you're locked in there. And again, it also will lock in your safety. Okay. So with this one, this is a sled type cranking device. This is your release button is right here. Little gray thing, right, silver thing. You just push that down and run your rope out. As you see here. Okay. Run it over your scope and your speed dial. Take this little pin right here. It's going to go in this hole, in this one right here. And you just slide it in there. Okay. And if my sled's not out far enough, I'm going to roll my sled out just a little bit more. Okay, now it's hooked on. Now, with this one here, see, I got all my strings all clear. Make sure your strings are clear. And you're going to hear a click. Okay? I don't particularly care for that click. So I would crank this back at my vehicle just because of the noise the crank can make. Okay? So I'm going to run this back down. We'll talk about the rope. Okay? So I'm going to take it off. Clear my strings. I'm going to crank this up until it's snug. So I don't want my strings getting all messed up. Okay, oh, I just did it. Yep, I messed up my strings. So let me run this back out and snug that in. Now for the rope cocker on this one, it is right here on top. Okay, right there. So all I'm going to do is just take my string and run that right over the grooves and go down and hook up my string down there at the bottom. So that's all I'm going to do with that. And you got, again, you've seen me do that on multiple videos. Okay. So I got my engineer trying to help out over here. Okay. So, yeah, it's depending on your crossbow. It's going to depend on your cranking device, string or no string, or I should say cocking rope. There's some crossbows out there, like some 10 points. You're not going to have a string. You're only going to have the crank. Okay? So with that said, let's come back with some final thoughts for today. Okay, so final thoughts for today. Again, it's all going to depend on your manufacturer, what your manufacturer suggests for cocking devices, ropes, cocking devices. Some will come with both, some will just come with the rope and not the crank. Again, it's just going to depend on the package that you get when you order your crossbow or get your crossbow. Rope cocking devices are quicker than the cranks. The cranks take sometimes forever to, well, let's just do it this way. A rope cocking device can take you 3 seconds to cock. Rope cocking device may take you 5 or 6 seconds to cock. So it's all going to be your preference. So some people have hand injuries or shoulder injuries or arm injuries. The cranking device might be the ideal way to go instead of doing the rope. Because I know it depends on what state you're in. I'm going to use Utah because I know the Utah law on that. For compound bow season, we can't use crossbows. For any weapon season, you can use a crossbow. So the difference. But if you're in the crossbow, if you're in the compound bow season and you have an injury, you get a doctor's note, and you can use your crossbow to hunt in the bow season. Again, check your local laws, the state laws on crossbows. Same thing with, can you cock your crossbow, put a load of arrow into it, and walk into your blind or go to your tree stand. But if you're going to a tree stand though, once you get to the tree stand, make sure you take your arrow out before you hoist it up into your tree stand. So again, it's going to depend on your local regulations. You need to check those first. I am not an expert on cranking devices, but this is just my example of cranking devices. Again, depending on what type of crossbow you have, look up a YouTube video, Google it, or whatever for your crossbow to see about how to use your cranking device. So, the final cough. Remember, family comes first. Take care of your family. Most of all, get out there and hunt. And see you on the next video.